You can allow the pace of the day to end here. There is nothing more you need to grow, fix, finish, or understand tonight. You may settle into the place where you are resting and let comfort come in whatever small ways it can. Your eyes may close, or your gaze may become soft. Your hands may rest where they naturally fall. Your shoulders can release only as much as feels easy. Notice the breath already moving through you. It arrives without a plan. It leaves without a trace. You may follow one breath, then another, or let the breathing happen beyond your attention. Perhaps the muscles around your eyes can soften, your jaw may loosen, your arms can become still. Let the surface beneath you carry your back, your hips, your legs. If your mind is busy, imagine placing each thought in a clay pot on a long greenhouse shelf. Nothing is being thrown away. Each thought can remain there safely until morning, labeled or unlabeled, watered or left alone. For now, the greenhouse itself begins to appear. It stands at the edge of a wide garden as evening settles over the fields. Its roof is made from old glass panes held in dark green frames. Warm light shines through leaves pressed close to the windows. A gravel path leads to the door. On both sides, herb beds give off the faint scent of thyme, mint, and damp earth. The air is mild. A few swallows cross the last blue light above the roof, then disappear toward their nests. The greenhouse keeper waits beside the entrance. His name is Elian. He wears a linen shirt with the sleeves rolled softly at the wrists, and he carries a brass watering can polished by years of use. You have arrived on the night the moon vine is expected to open, he says. His voice is warm, but he does not speak as though anything important depends on it. It may open tonight. It may wait until another night. Either way, the greenhouse will be ready. He opens the door. Warm, fragrant air surrounds you. Inside, stone paths wind between beds of ferns, citrus trees, flowering vines, and shelves of potted herbs. Drops of water rest on broad leaves. Small lamps hang from iron hooks, their light softened by pale shades. The glass roof holds the deepening sky above. At the center of the greenhouse, a tall vine climbs a circular trellis. Its leaves are dark and heart-shaped. Near the top hangs one closed bud, pale green and larger than the others. That is the moon vine, Elian says. Before we wait, there are 3 small things I like to do. Close the east window, water the rosemary, turn down the path lamps. None of them must be perfect. The east window stands open a few inches above a bed of white geraniums. You walk there first. The stone beneath your feet is warm from the day. Along the way, you pass a lemon tree bearing small yellow fruit. Its leaves shine beneath the lamps. A shallow bowl below it catches drops from the last watering. At the window, the evening breeze moves the curtain of leaves nearby. You draw the frame inward until it rests against the latch. The greenhouse becomes a little quieter. Outside sounds grow distant. Inside sounds become clearer. A drop of water falling into a basin. A leaf brushing another leaf. The soft scrape of Elian setting down the watering can. Nothing more is required of the window. Before leaving the east side, Elian shows you a narrow fern house beyond a curtain of hanging leaves. The air there is cooler. Ferns unfurl from beds of dark moss, their fronds layered in shades of green. A stone channel carries a thread of water along the wall. Every few feet, it widens into a shallow cup where drops gather before spilling onward. One cup has filled with fallen petals from a nearby white begonia. You lift the petals out and place them in a small compost basket. The water beneath is clear again. Elian adjusts nothing else. Ferns are good at making a room feel finished, he says. They ask the corners to become soft. At the end of the fern house stands a bell jar containing a new frond no larger than your finger. A card beside it reads, "Unfurling in its own time." You do not lift the glass. The small green spiral needs no help. You return through the curtain of leaves. Next is the rosemary bed. It grows near the warm south wall, where rows of clay pots sit beneath painted tiles. The soil is dry on top, though still dark beneath. Elian gives you a smaller watering jug. Only enough to darken the earth, he says. You pour slowly. Water disappears into the soil. The scent of rosemary rises at once, clean and familiar. A few droplets remain on the needle-shaped leaves, holding tiny points of lamplight. You move along the bed at an unhurried pace. One pot, then another, then the last. Nothing overflows, nothing is thirsty now. After the rosemary, you carry the empty jug to the citrus walk. This part of the greenhouse is lined with dwarf orange and lemon trees. Their trunks rise from large blue pots. Small fruit glows among glossy leaves, and white blossoms open beside fruit that has already ripened. A few petals have fallen across the path. Elian sweeps them into his palm rather than brushing them away with a broom. He places them in a shallow dish on the work table, where their fragrance can remain until morning. One branch leans against the glass. You help guide it back toward its wooden support, fastening the soft tie loosely enough for the branch to move. Nothing is pulled straight, nothing is forced into shape. The branch simply has more room. Beyond the citrus walk is the seed room. It is warm and dry, with hundreds of small drawers built into the walls. Each drawer has a porcelain label: beans, poppies, sweet peas, herbs, night flowers. Elian opens the drawer marked night flowers. Inside are paper packets in shades of cream, gray, and blue. Some are full. Some hold only a few seeds. One contains a note instead of seeds. The vine gave none this year. We will ask again next summer. The empty packet has been kept without disappointment. It is part of the record, too. You place the moon vine packet from the work table in the front of the drawer, ready for whatever seeds may come after the bloom. Then you close the drawer with a soft wooden sound. Before the path lamps, Elian opens a door into the shade house. This room is roofed with woven screens rather than clear glass. By day, they protect delicate plants from bright sun. At night, the screens turn the moonlight into soft patterns across the floor. Camellias grow in large clay tubs. Moss covers pieces of old wood. A row of small maple trees stands along the wall, their leaves dark red even in the low light. At the center is a long bench where new plants rest after being moved from one pot to another. Tonight, the bench holds only an empty blue pot and a wooden label. Elian writes moon vine cutting on the label, though no cutting has been taken. Only if the plant offers one, he says. He places the label inside the empty pot, prepared but not demanding. A cabinet beneath the bench contains clean cloths, soft brushes, and coils of garden string. You fold one cloth that has dried after washing and place it with the others. The task is almost too small to call a task, yet the drawer closes more easily afterward. On your way out, you pass a camellia bud covered in fine dew. It will not open tonight. Its season is far away. Still, the greenhouse keeps a place for it. The third task is the path lamps. Each lamp has a small brass wheel at its base. You and Elian walk through the greenhouse, turning them from bright gold to a lower amber glow. As the first lamp dims, the ferns become softer. As the second dims, the citrus leaves reflect less light. As the third dims, the glass roof shows more of the evening sky. The route takes you through several parts of the greenhouse. There is a corner filled with orchids, their petals pale as folded silk. There is a shallow pool where round leaves float on warm water. A stone turtle rests at the edge, green with moss. There is a bench beneath a climbing fig, covered with cushions in shades of cream and sage. Near the back wall is a work table where seed packets are arranged in a wooden box. Their labels are written by hand. Sweet basil, blue salvia, evening primrose, moon vine. A final empty packet lies beside them, ready for seeds that have not yet been gathered. You do not need to gather them tonight. The lamps continue to dim. The greenhouse seems larger in the lower light, but also more restful. Shadows gather beneath leaves, gentle and cool. The paths remain clear. At the last lamp, Elian pauses. "This one stays on," he says. It stands beside the circular trellis, casting a soft glow over the closed moon vine bud. The 3 tasks are complete. Before sitting down, Elian opens the small gates that connect the greenhouse's water channels. The gates are no larger than your hand. When the first is lifted, a thin stream moves from the central basin toward the fern house. The second sends water past the citrus pots. The third carries a quiet line beneath the moon vine trellis. You walk beside the water only long enough to see that each channel receives it. There is no flooding, no rushing. The streams travel by the shallow slope of the stone. At the trellis, the water enters a round pool filled with pale pebbles. The moon vine's roots do not sit in the pool. They simply receive a little coolness from the earth nearby. Elian lowers the gates again. "That will last until morning," he says. Near the trellis is a basket of soft garden ties. One loose vine has moved away from its support. You guide it back and make a simple loop, leaving space for growth. The closed bud hangs above your hands, pale in the low lamp. It has not changed yet. That is all right. No one checks the tasks. No list is marked. The greenhouse simply feels ready. Elian brings 2 cups of warm water infused with lemon leaf and a little honey. You sit together on the bench beneath the climbing fig. The moon vine stands across the path. Its bud has not opened. "Most people think waiting means watching closely," Elian says. "Plants rarely ask for that kind of attention. We can look away." So you do. You notice other things. The warmth of the cup. The smooth edge of the bench. The scent of wet soil. The faint silver light growing above the glass roof. Outside, the moon rises behind the trees. Its light reaches the highest panes first, then moves slowly down the sloping roof. The greenhouse lamps remain low and warm beneath it. Elian tells you how the moon vine arrived years ago as a seed in a paper envelope. It was sent by a gardener from a far valley where white flowers grew along the riverbanks. The first vine took 3 seasons to bloom. The second opened on a cloudy afternoon. Another waited until everyone had gone home and was discovered the next morning, already resting open among its leaves. They have their own sense of timing, he says. His story ends without a lesson. The greenhouse grows quiet again. As you sit, small evening visitors appear in their usual places. A pale moth rests on the outside of the glass, its wings folded like 2 leaves. A tree frog settles near the warm water pipe, green against green. High in the roof beams, a pair of tiny birds sleep in a nest built where 2 frames meet. Nothing comes close. Nothing needs your attention. The greenhouse simply contains many kinds of rest. Elian opens a drawer beneath the bench and takes out a cloth-bound album. Inside are paintings of flowers that bloomed after dark. One is a cactus flower open for a single summer night. Another is a jasmine vine covering an old wall. A third is the first moon vine from the paper envelope, painted beside a ruler that no one bothered to use correctly. On the final page is an empty circle of dark green leaves. The flower in the center has not been painted. "I leave a page ready," Elian says. "Not because the flower owes us a bloom, but because hope also deserves a place to rest." He closes the album and returns it to the drawer. For a while you listen to water moving through the last open channel. A drop reaches the pool beneath the trellis. Another follows. The sound is irregular and gentle, impossible to count for long. You may notice your own breathing. It has its own sense of timing, too. No breath arrives early. No breath leaves late. At some point, while you are looking at the moonlight on the roof, Elian turns his head toward the trellis. The bud has changed. One pale seam has appeared along its side. You both remain seated. The seam widens slowly, an outer petal folds back, then another. The flower does not burst open. It unfolds as though remembering a shape it has always known. White petals curve outward one after another. Their edges catch the moonlight. At the center, a faint golden color appears. The fragrance reaches you only after the flower is nearly open. It is light and cool, with something of vanilla, rainwater, and clean night air. It does not fill the greenhouse all at once. It moves gradually from the trellis to the rosemary bed, then toward the fig bench. Elian smiles. "Tonight then," he says. He does not take a photograph. He does not call anyone. The moment is allowed to remain quiet. You stand and walk closer. The flower is wide now, luminous against the dark leaves. A small drop of water rests at the tip of one petal. Beneath it, a tiny new bud is already forming for another evening. Nothing depends on this single bloom. The vine has time. The greenhouse has time. You have time. For a time, neither of you speaks. The open flower changes as the moon moves. Its white petals become silver at the edges and warm near the center. The drop at the tip of one petal grows, falls into the pebble pool, and disappears without disturbing the bloom. Elian brings the album from beneath the bench and places it on the work table. He does not paint the flower in full. Instead, he mixes one pale color and brushes a small curve onto the waiting page. "The rest can be remembered differently," he says. He leaves the page open to dry. You walk once around the trellis. From each side the flower appears slightly different. From the rosemary bed it seems to float above the leaves. From the citrus walk it is framed by dark branches. From the fern house it is only a pale shape beyond layers of green. There is no single view that must be kept. Near the work table, Elian cuts the peach from the evening fruit bowl and divides it into two simple slices. The fruit tastes cool and fragrant. You eat in silence beneath the open glass roof. Outside, the garden beyond the greenhouse has become a deep blue field of shapes. The main house shows one warm kitchen window. A path lamp glows near the herb beds. The rest is moonlight. Elian takes the empty seed packet from the work table and writes the date on it, though the numbers do not matter. Beneath them, he adds a few words. Opened under a clear moon. The rosemary had just been watered. He sets the packet beside the trellis to dry. Then he opens a narrow door in the back wall. Beyond it is a resting room built into the greenhouse itself. A low bed stands beneath a window of frosted glass. Shelves hold folded blankets. A cane chair sits beside a little table. Through an open arch, the moon vine remains visible among the leaves. "You may stay here," Elian says. "The flower will close after dawn, but there is no need to watch." He turns toward the main door, checking only that the watering cans are upright and the east window is latched. Soon his footsteps fade along the stone path. You settle into the resting room. The bed is comfortable. The blanket carries the faint scent of sun and lavender. The greenhouse around you remains warm. One lamp glows beside the trellis. One white flower rests open beneath the glass roof. The moon travels slowly above it. You may remember the three simple tasks. A window closed. Rosemary watered. Lamps lowered. Each one finished without effort. The rest of the night can finish itself. Leaves hold their droplets. Roots rest in dark soil. Seeds wait in their packets. The greenhouse does not ask anything to grow while you watch. Perhaps a dream begins among the paths. Perhaps the stone walkway continues into a garden larger than the greenhouse, where every plant gives off a gentle light. Perhaps you find a warm spring beneath citrus trees, or a pavilion woven from vines, or a quiet orchard at the edge of morning. You do not need to choose the dream. The moon vine can open a door without asking you to step through it. The flower becomes softer in your mind. White petals, dark leaves, one warm lamp. The scents of rosemary and earth fade into the quiet. Your breathing continues. The greenhouse holds steady. No window needs closing now. No plant needs tending. No lamp needs turning lower. Everything has enough. The next breath arrives. The next breath leaves. The moon moves above the glass. The flower rests beneath it. And all through the warm greenhouse, leaves and roots and sleeping seeds settle into the night with you.